Hey, what's up, universe? It's 2:40 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, October 29th, 2023. This will be a multifaceted, video journal entry. There's a number of different inspirations for it. I've sat here for a little bit contemplating what to say, and I'm just going to let my stream of consciousness go, and if I happen to forget something, then I forget something, and if I don't, that's just as good. I'm receiving, the last couple of videos have gotten some responses, and one private message and a couple public comments, and I find it interesting that more of my family is interacting with my videos, which is a welcome thing, and I'm not sure exactly how to interpret it, yet I welcome the engagement. Just if for nothing else, it's still a form of connection, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm just going to go kind of stream of consciousness, like I said. So I've gotten some people, that are like, you look like you could use some rest, and I'm like, yes, that's true. I am tired, and it has been difficult to get rest while it's been so cold. My oldest son gave me a suggestion last night, which was well received and a great idea. So I believe that'll be helpful to help me get better rest as the season is changing and the temperature is fluctuating. So there's that, and that's okay. I pay attention a lot to my body and how things feel. That's a very primary input of mine. So I'm very mindful of that, and I'm just saying that because in spite of how I look and in spite of me being tired, I feel that things are okay. Last few days have been energetically difficult in some regards, so I have felt that, but I've already spoken to where I feel like that's coming from and what that's around, and it isn't related to my physiological health. So physically speaking, I'm good. Energetically speaking, I feel like I'm good most of the time. Mentally good most of the time. Last few days have been energetic and mentally challenging. Today, not so much, but the 24th through the 27th, maybe the 28th, those 3 or 4 days, that was a little rough. So I just wanted to speak to that because I've had some people mention that, and I'm grateful for people being curious and looking out for me and caring and supporting me. So I just want to acknowledge them and say thank you, for checking in and communicating the concern. The next thing I want to speak to is that for the first time that I'm aware of, my nephew, one of my nephews, asked a question on my last video, I believe, and left a comment. And he asked, "What's the end goal? What's the end goal here?" And I sat with that for a while because it's an excellent question. It makes a lot of sense. It's one question that I ask people. What's the goal, right? So I appreciate the question, and it could be a lengthy response because it's very multifaceted, and so I'll just kind of run at length with it, honestly, right? So there's really two different levels to it in a way. One is there's my personal take, what I believe to be the end goal, what my consciousness believes to be the end goal, and then there is what I would call the divine design of my life. and I can't fathom what that is because I'm not the creator, I'm not the universe, I'm not the one that created the divine design for my life, so I really can't speak to that. So I feel like there's two kind of facets to that question at a higher level, right? And thanks for joining and to speak to that. Yes, freedom is part of it for sure. But to go back to the question of like what's the end goal, I kind of want to start at a bigger level or a broader level first, right? So again, if I'm going to speak to what I believe, like my conscious self, believes is the end goal is teaching. For a long time, I've known that I'm a teacher and that I'm a student too. And the way that I learn, and my family can appreciate this, especially, my mom, I'm sure. The way that I learn is that it could be construed as destructive or deconstructive because I take things apart, like break them down. And sometimes I break them to figure out how it works. I've done this my entire life. I did it with everything that I owned as a child. I would take apart all of my toys to figure out what made them work. And so with this particular path that I'm on, philosophically speaking, energetically speaking, just any way you want to cut it, that's basically how I'm doing it, right? And you can kind of get a feel for that with the position that I'm in. I've taken myself down to like the very bare minimum, and I'm figuring out how it works and how to put it back together in a way that is much different than I constructed it before. So with that, the end goal is honestly learning, and to me that speaks to how I view life energetically and philosophically. I view life as a giant school, and we're all here to learn a variety of different lessons. Not all of us are here to learn the same lessons. We're not all on the same path. We're here for different reasons, and that's why I do believe in personal sovereignty. That's why I believe in honoring one's truth. That's why I'm a proponent of these things, is because, and that's why I say I don't know what's right for you, because I don't know what your path is. I don't know what your journey is. If I don't know what my divine design is, I certainly don't know what your divine design is. I don't know what the universe has in store for any of us, what the main point is. So I've grown to relax into that and to surrender into that and to live my life from that place, because that gives me the ability to give myself a lot of freedom and latitude and honestly grace and compassion. It gives me a space to give myself a lot of self-love instead of beating myself up or ridiculing myself or judging myself. And because I'm able to give that to myself, then I'm able to give that to other people, and I find that to be a much better place for me to live energetically. It feels better because I grew up, not just like, I don't want to say grew up, but even through like my professional work, I grew really cynical about the human race and our species. I remember some of the things I would tell my kids, and I just had a lot of like venom, towards just the human condition, and it really just wasn't a positive experience of life. It just wasn't. And it took a long time, and it's really changed over the last 3, maybe 4 years. It's fairly recent that I've actually been able to live from a place that is almost 180 degree difference, just completely separate. So when I'm asked about what the end goal is, it's about continuing to learn and continuing to journey on my path and to continuously open up to the potential of things. It's to unlearn what I've been taught through man and to relearn about man through spirit, basically. And when I say it like that, if we want to look at it in the context of what I've been talking about here recently with the revocation of election and, being a state national or an American national, this kind of a thing, a lot of this stuff, it all goes back to our God-given rights, and it's actually based very much in a spiritual way, because that's honestly where it starts, right? We come into existence one way or another, however you want to look at it, and we are given, the fact that we're born, the fact that we exist, the fact that we're here means something, like we have rights that we are given just by merely existing, and then everything after that is created by man. And so fundamentally speaking, honestly, we have that's true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, basically, and that's what causes a lot of cognitive dissonance, is that learning that what we have been told by the people that we feel like we should trust, those in authority, like there's no reason why, we should automatically distrust people, right? Like as children, we trust our parents, we trust those in authority, we're taught to trust people in authority. I mean, this is something that we're all taught, and it makes sense. I can't hold anybody, I'm not faulting anybody for that, right? And so it causes a lot of cognitive dissonance to start to see and then realize and then believe that it's not just one lie, it's a whole lot of lies, and there's not small lies, they're big lies. And again, there's reasons for it, and I'm not gonna, because I've already been through it. I've already been through my anger and my, my distaste and my frustration and my, reaction to that cognitive dissonance, because it's kind of it's a form of betrayal, honestly. And I've been through that. And so that being said, I don't fault the people that created this or that participate in this, the lie or the perpetuation of the lie, or the system, so to speak. And it's not to it's not to give them a free pass in the sense of I support it. It's just that embodying the energy of that anger is antithetical to part of my end goal. As far as again, this is multifaceted. What's the end goal? Part of the end goal is to be the least disturbed in life, regardless of what's happening or regardless of what my experience is. To be the master of my inner peace in my inner space, and that's a big part of my end goal for my own self. And again, I'm not here to convert anybody. I'm not here to say that my way is the right way, or even the only way, or anything like that. This is very much my way for me. This is my path, and when asked about that, I will speak only for myself and of myself, because everybody, I view, again, is on their own journey. So that's why I said it earlier in my other video, is that if it doesn't resonate with you, then that's okay. I'm not here to convert anybody. This isn't about that. But if one wants to know what it's like for me, then that's what it is. So, and if it resonates with other people, then that's fine too. So again, that kind of goes back to just teaching and learning, is that whatever I'm doing and however I'm being and whatever I'm embodying will land with the people that it's meant to land with, and vice versa. And I'm not intentionally, being antagonistic or looking to convert anybody. I'm not looking to, how do I want to say, confrontation. I'm not looking to be confrontational. It's that energy is opposite of what I work to embody. And I think that can be seen in my videos when I talk about some of the interactions that I've had, where I could just as easily embody some of the energy that I've been approached with, yet that's exactly the opposite of what it is that I'm looking to embody, so I choose not to. And it's not because I feel like I'm better than anybody, it's just because I've been there and I know what that feels like. And again, it goes back to feeling in my body. I know what that energy feels like, and I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy that. And so I've worked a lot to be able to experience things, acknowledge that that's a valid experience, those feelings are valid, and I can understand how and why people have those certain reactions and have those feelings and have that energy, and consciously choose different. And it took a lot of work for me to get there. It doesn't make me better than anybody. I just chose to work on it, because that's what felt best for me. And again, like I said, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just telling people that that's what I chose. And so the end goal is to just all of that, to keep learning and to keep unlearning and to keep exploring. And, if we want to get specific about what am I doing here regarding my taxes, and if we want to get into like the government stuff and that philosophical thing, for me, it's about exploring, what we've been told, the systems that we've been living in, and figuring out how to navigate those in a different way than what we've been taught and told, because I believe that there are other ways that we can navigate these systems than what we've been taught and told. I believe that there's a whole world of a different way of being in relationship to that system that is much more free and more open than what we are aware of. And I believe there's a way to do that legally and systematically and in honor and lawfully and legally. I believe that's very true. I think that's very possible. And so it interests me because it's a complicated process. It's one that gives my mind the chance to figure things out. In a lot of ways, it's just like why computers fascinate me, right? And why I like to program, and why I have always been interested in IT. There's a lot of complicated things. There's a lot of different things to figure out. There's a lot of different ways to do the same thing. There's a lot that can go wrong, and there's a lot of ways that it can go right. There's ways to get around things. There's ways to learn about how different systems work, and the design. We're working within a system that was designed, and I'm not going to get into whether or not it's good or bad or whatever, but it was designed, and it's no different than a computer system. And there's ways to navigate that, and I find it fascinating to figure that out. And it's literally no different than how I learned anything else. Like I said, growing up, I spent so many thousands of hours as a kid and as a teenager figuring out different computer things. It's what I spent my time doing. And so this is like an extension of that. And I can teach people a whole bunch of stuff about computers. I know a whole lot of stuff about computers. And as time goes on, I'm going to be able to teach a whole lot of people about this kind of a thing. And it turns out that there's a whole lot of people that are very interested in this topic as well, or these topics as well. And so the end goal is to just, fulfill that role. I as I keep going along, I believe that that's part of what I'm supposed to do, And I can't say anything more than that. It just kind of feels like the right thing for me to do. So hopefully that kind of answers some of that, as far as what the end goal is. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, the thrill of it, those endless rabbit holes. Yeah, there's just a lot of different things to figure out. A lot of different ways to approach things, and a lot of different systems to learn. And it's just a way to, I don't know, I've always liked learning. And, to me, it's a lot of fun, to think about saying, hey, like, did you know that you could do this? Like, you don't have to, like, participate in life this way or within the system this way. If you wanted to do this, like, if say, like, you don't have to pay taxes. It's actually legal and lawful that you don't have to. It's voluntary. Did you know that? And if you're interested in figuring out how to, not pay, then, like, and show you this kind of a thing. And it's not about being greedy. It's not about, being antagonistic towards the system. It's nothing like that. It's literally just about, like, hey, did you know? And here's how it works, It's very much from a neutral place, It's kind of like, it's literally no different than, like, the computer stuff, like I was saying. Like, hey, did you know you can build a cross-platform binary on GitHub and distribute that as a program? And if you want to know how to do it, like, I can show you how. Like, it's no different, like, right? It energetically speaking, you know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, if people are interested, cool. If they're not, cool. It's may not be for everybody. And the whole, there's obviously these things raise a lot of questions, right? Be like, okay, well, if you're not paying taxes, how are we going to pay for things? Like, if you're not, paying taxes, then, like, is it tax evasion? Like, there's a whole lot of just questions. And so what's fun about this is that, these are valid questions, right? Well, it's part of the learning process, where it's just kind of like, well, to tell you the truth, like, the way that the system makes money is actually, like, through these other means. It's not just through taxation. And what the difference is between tax evasion and just being tax exempt, or not being a non-taxpayer. I shouldn't even say tax exempt, but being a non-taxpayer. And the reasons for that, because as one starts to learn, like, the system starts to open up. You know what I mean? That's the same thing with computers. It's just kind of like, the more you get into it, the more kind of, like, potential is seen, and the more fascinating it kind of becomes. But again, it's not for everybody. Like, not everybody's a computer programmer. Not everybody cares to get into it. Totally get it. It's not a problem. So, like, that's how I feel it is with this kind of stuff too. Is it's not for everybody, because it is to participate with the system and to navigate the system in a different way. You do have to choose to do it. You have to choose that that's going to be your way of being. That's going to be your lifestyle. You're going to choose to learn. You know what I mean? It's a change in behavior. It's a change in a way of being. And a lot of people may not be down with that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, So it's... I think that's why I say I'm not here to convert anybody. I'm just here to explore what I feel like I'm meant to explore and what excites me. And then as I continue along the path, I'm finding other people that are in the similar vein. And we're all excited to have found each other in a way. And just we're all kind of doing things. We're all kind of exploring different facets, of the system. Some of us are exploring the same facets, and it's literally, again, I just have to keep relating it back to computer programming and, like, the early days of the internet or whatever. Like, they're all like, you got all these engineers, they're all figuring out different pieces of the puzzle, and everybody's working on a part of it, so And I will say, just energetically speaking, as we move forward in time, as we exit, and this is going to be astrologically speaking, as we exit more out of, the age of Pisces and enter more into the age of Aquarius, this type of energy, this type of form of society, this type of view, this type of connection to personal sovereignty is absolutely representative of Aquarius energy. Generation Alpha is absolutely going to embody this type of energy. Pisces, the fish, school of thought, like herd mentality, like you've got groupthink, a lot more of that in the age of Pisces, and individuation, sovereignty, more humanitarianism, even with individualization, is going to be a much bigger thing going forward. Understanding our own authority, understanding our own sovereignty, having our own respect for these things, which allows us to give respect for other people's sovereignty and individualization, is a huge part of that energy. And so it's not surprising to me that as we move forward in time, there's more and more people that are becoming curious about this topic. And as we go forward, the younger, the kids today will grow up into adults, obviously. And, the super young kids, I say super young, but like whatever Generation Alpha is, what are they, like 5 to like 8 or however, I don't know the generation gap, but like the younger kids today, they're gonna embody this more, and it's just, to me it's just representative of the time. Things are changing, and I think that's another part of the reason the end goal is to learn the system, because as the system will change, and parts of the system are going to become more apparent, and it's going to raise a lot of questions. And I think there's going to be a lot of, like I said, I've mentioned it before, cognitive dissonance that comes up, and people are going to want to know what the hell. And so that's part of the reason I do it too, is it's not just to educate myself on all these different processes so that I can navigate the processes and like benefit from them, but it's also so I can help with the healing. There's going to be a lot of healing that goes on as these systems become made more aware of, and what the cause was, where was the root of that. There's a lot to go through when these things start to become exposed or confronted. And so the whole education and teaching part is very multifaceted as well, and I feel like that's part of my role too. So, and that's been coming up for me over the last few years, and just over the last couple of days, these handful of days that have been kind of energetically difficult, I think it's becoming more crystallized to me, more clear on what it is I'm supposed to be teaching. But I can say over the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years, teaching has been like, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm like, all right, great, teach what? And I think it's becoming a lot more clear on my place in that. So, trying to think if there's really anything else that's, if anybody else has asked any questions or said anything. Yeah, I did want to say thank you for that book suggestion. I took a look, and that's an interesting book. I'll have to check that out some more. So, yeah, I hope I'm saying it right. Julius Caesar, the book that you recommended. So, yeah, I've been talking for quite a while, so that's what I got. And I appreciate your time and your space. Thank you for journeying with me and being with me. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll talk to you guys later. I love you guys. Bye.